Welcome back to my Lobotomy Corporation bedtime story reading. This is Hitori, and I'll be helping you fall asleep with some ambient audio and awesome OST from our favorite game as I learn more about Lobotomy Corporation's abnormalities. In the last video, we read about giant tree sap. This time, it'll be Mountain of Smiling Bodies. This is now the 60-second abnormality in Lob Corp reading. Check the entire playlist on the card on the upper right of this video. Let's begin. Mountain of Smiling Bodies. T-01-75 is an abnormality taking the form of a big, black, spherical flesh mass intertwined with different parts and debris such as metal beams and gears. It possesses 2 limbs to support itself and a big mouth with visible teeth that are mostly covered in blood. Parts of its body is covered with white, melted, mask-like faces and twisted expressions, all with black holes in place of eyes and mouths, along with some being riddled with extra orifices. Ability. Mountain of Smiling Body's special ability will trigger when its Qliphos counter reaches 0. It will decrease by 1 when an employee enter its containment unit injured, HP or SP missing or not full at max. The employee dies in its containment unit. Getting a bad work result. 10 or more employees, including clerks, die in the facility. Employees killed by execution bullets don't count towards this. Its appearance changes when its Qliphos counter is reduced. When Mountain of Smiling Body's Qliphos counter reaches 0, it will breach. During breach, it starts with 500 HP and moves quickly at 80 movement speed. Mountain will try to bite nearby employees, dealing moderate 7 to 11 red damage, while trying to eat them in the process. When it walks over a corpse, it will consume it and heal itself. After 3 corpses are consumed, Mountain of Smiling Bodies will grow an extra part attached to one of its sides, as well as recover and double its max HP. This can happen twice, increasing to 1000 max HP at 2 parts and 2000 at 3 parts. At 2 or more parts, once its HP falls below half, the last addition will be removed. Mountain of Smiling Body's max HP will reduce accordingly. In addition, Mountain of Smiling Body's movement speed will be halved to 40 at 2 or more parts. Mountain of Smiling Bodies will perform other attacks depending on the number of parts that is possessed at the moment. With 2 parts, it will perform a short roar when it sees a target. The roar deals considerate 20 to 27 black damage to targets at medium range. With 3 parts, it will start to slam other employees or abnormalities near them, dealing moderate 15 to 17 black damage, or spit an acid substance, dealing massive 120 to 150 black damage and slowing any targets in front of it in a short range. If there are any employees' corpses on the floor, Mountain of Smiling Bodies will move towards them. If there are no dead bodies, it will wander around the entire facility with no specific pattern, usually turning back when reaching a door. It will remain breaching until suppressed or the day ends. Details. Mountain of Smiling Bodies responds to the 4 works in order of best to worst: instinct, repression, insight, and attachment. Like all abnormalities, its energy output is determined by the number of P boxes at the end of the interaction. Mountain of Smiling Bodies' emotional state is divided into 3 sections: bad, normal, and good. Completing 0 to 10 PE boxes will cause it to feel distressed. Completing 11 to 20 will cause it to feel normal. And 21 to 30 will make it happy. Its usual cooldown timer after a task is around 15 seconds. Its Glyphos counter is 2. Managerial Guidelines. Managerial Guideline 1. When Name died while working with Mountain of Smiling Bodies, the Glyphos counter lowered. Managerial Guideline 2. When a wounded employee entered the containment unit, the Glyphos counter lowered. Managerial Guideline 3. When the work result was bad, Glyphos counter decreased. Managerial Guideline 4. When 10 employees die inside the facility, the Glyphos counter will lower. However, deaths caused by execution bullets were not recognized. Managerial Guideline 5. While Mountain of Smiling Bodies is escaping, it will show sensitive reactions to corpses. During suppression, ensure that no one dies due to the abnormality. If casualties do happen, try to keep Mountain of Smiling Bodies away from the dead. Managerial Guideline 6. If Mountain of Smiling Bodies suppression could not be completed on the previous level, you must be very careful to prevent any death inside the section where Mountain of Smiling Bodies is located. Managerial Guideline 7. After other entities spawn from Mountain of Smiling Body's main body while escaping, reducing its HP to 0 did not fully suppress it. Mountain of Smiling Bodies will only be quelled by attacking the main body after continuously reducing its HP and defeating the other spawned entities. Story. It's not like these kinds of happenings are uncommon here. But one day, dozens of employees were killed in an incident. The reason is the same as always. Something breaches, they attempt to stop it, then it leads to another breach. The one fortunate thing was the department was sealed off before things could get any worse. So they all died in the same place. Literally, a mountain of bodies was formed. Obviously, no one wanted to clean that mess. Normally, it should have been taken care of within the day, but because the accident was just so horrific and everyone was so exhausted, the cleanup was delayed with authorization from the department's Sephira. Don't ask me which department it was in. I don't remember the details. When left out in the open, a corpse will begin to rot within a few hours. Most of the bodies that die here are damaged in one way or another, so they decay even faster. You probably don't know it yet, but most of the employees here are rather skilled at cleaning up dead bodies. Tidying up over and over will make anyone an expert at it, whether you want it or not. Let's say someone you were just talking to about dinner plans died horrifically. With your repeated experience to help you, you won't be vomiting or running away at least. Oops, I sidetracked a little there. Anyway, in normal circumstances, the mountain would have been removed quickly, but it remained in the department for quite a long time. So it decayed, melted, corroded, and broke down following the loss of nature. That's how its creation began, from the mountain of bodies. The dead gave life to something. Amazed yet? I've still got more to tell you. The dead fused with one another, all smiling, sharing body parts, at least those that were still intact. They became each other's legs and mouths. That doesn't mean their consciousness has also been restored, though. It only wants one thing: our flesh drenched in blood. When there's an announcement of someone's death, the first thing you should do is check if this thing's quarantined. Once it gets a whiff of the scent, it will pursue us in an instant. The smiling faces are unfamiliar yet sorrowful. The more bodies it comes across, the more defined its shape becomes, and it is never satisfied. I'm telling you all this because it's almost there. Accidents always happen in this place. Some may spare a bit of their time for a moment of silence, but most will turn away thinking, again? At the very least. One thing that was done right is the department's been sealed off. I'm the only one left anyways. Did you learn anything from my story? What kind of lesson can be learned from a story as horrible as this, you ask? It's similar to most fairy tales. Don't be lazy is the lesson. When my voice ceases, come here and clean up your colleagues in exactly 3 minutes. Pretty soon I won't be able to keep talking. I'm about to swallow a large bomb. Time's running out. Blood is flowing all around here. I'm starting to see smiling faces now. Something you don't see much of around here. Don't be surprised when you hear a loud explosion. Like I said, it's precisely 3 minutes. I'm sure a bomb this size will be able to suppress it. The last body it finds will be mine. Trivia. This is the first abnormality to use corpses as a way to trigger its own effects, the second being censored. Mountain of Smiling Bodies in its ego suit can still consume corpses of employees executed with execution bullets, as there exists a small gap of time where the body of the executed employee shrinks before disappearing while the visual effect is still on. Despite being classified under Humanoid 01, it doesn't resemble any humanoid shape or form. This is probably because of what it's made of and not what form it has. There is an obvious resemblance to No-Face from Spirited Away, particularly when No-Face is on a rampage to eat. Its appearance and abilities are reminiscent of that stench most foul from Salt and Sanctuary. Mountain of Smiling Bodies is referred to as Dango Creature in the game's files. Well, what do I have to say about this abnormality? We're like in one of the last few abnormalities we can have in Lobotomy Corporation now, and most of the Alephs are coming in here, including Mountain of Smiling Bodies. Of course, I feel like all of the Alephs are generally bad news, but considering the things that they give you, like their ego suit, their ego weapon, their ego gift, and maybe it's not so bad after all. But considering the other abnormalities that I have together with this abnormality, it is quite a hard time. Currently in my game, I have Mountain of Smiling Bodies, we have Big Bird, and we have the Magical Girl, which is the Queen of Hatred. And it's not really fun, because when Mountain of Smiling Bodies comes out, it is considered the second trumpet, right? Since it's an Aleph. Usually Big Bird comes out as well after that. And then, by the way, I have Little Red. They're together with Big Bird's department, so when Big Bird breaches, sometimes Little Red would come out as well. And then they would start killing people. And then the Queen of Hatred would come out as well. I am so confused. I don't know why. If you have any explanations why that happens, that would be great, because all 4 of them would just have a party. It's a party that is absolutely a pain in the ass. So what's more is that I have also the 3 birds, where I'm damn. So there is also a possibility that while the Big Bird is breaching, suddenly Punishing Bird would come out as well. So that would mean we would also be having to deal with the Apocalypse Bird. So I am not having a good time in general in my current facility, but the first thing that we would want to avoid would be 10 people dying because of the mountain of smiling bodies coming out. And then after that, there would be a domino effect. But if we can actually prevent it from coming out, and getting bigger, it's kind of manageable. But yeah, I feel like I am so much better with Mountain of Smiling Bodies than the Silent Orchestra, honestly. I'll take this guy over that other Aleph abnormality. But how about you? Do you have a favorite Aleph, perhaps? Because I have been hearing in my live streams that they like Mountain of Smiling Bodies, I guess. Or they're just trying to, have a little playful banter with me because it is a pain every time Mountain of Smiling Bodies comes out. All the domino effects just go in there, and then it all gets me to have to restart the day again. Restart again, that's like repetitive, but we're not here to teach English grammar. Anyway, if you have tips or interesting details about this abnormality, please comment about it down below. If you like, you can also catch my stream on Twitch and here on YouTube so you can assist me if you're a veteran in the game. If you want more Project Moon content from me, please don't hesitate to like the video. You can also support me further in my Patreon. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I'd like to thank my current Patreon supporters that are shown on the screen, as well as my Twitch subscribers. Want to always let you know that I appreciate everything you do for me. Truly. This thanks is also extended to you who is currently watching. Anyway, until next time, I hope you rest easy.